Part 22. Back to the 60s, The Struggle Career of a Charmed Wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 211. The reason why only men attended but not women is also very simple. It is not because of the inequality between men and women that leads to discrimination against women, but because the husband is the most important labor force in the family. Which woman doesn't want her man to have some good tonic food? It would be good if my family could have enough to eat all year round, but it was far from being compared to the 8 bowls at the wedding banquet. The 5 women present here took their place because there was no man in charge at home, or the man could not come in person. However, the dishes they brought were piled in the bowls in front of them, and they were reluctant to eat them. Maybe they wanted to take them home to the elderly and children. Satisfy cravings. Although many old customs were abolished after the founding of the People's Republic of China, etiquette here in Wanglu Brigade cannot be abolished. It can be said that the people of the Wanglu Brigade have been living here for generations, and the etiquette passed down is not simple. The women who had been chirping in the room for a long time were now gone. They probably went back to their respective homes, so as not to watch the men eating 8 large bowls of food while themselves drooling. Some children were far away. They stood, staring at the banquet, all salivating, wanting to climb on the table and pull the meat into their mouths. In this case, can Lu Tianjun, who previously said he would eat 8 bowls, do so? After all, even Father Lu didn't come to the table. Feng Qingxiu was thinking about brothers Lu Tianjun and Guan Cheng. She glanced around and didn't see their brothers among the children. Instead, she was shocked by the hungry wolf-like eyes of those children. Qingxiu, Lu Zhang, who was unable to support himself and was sitting in a wheelchair, noticed this and called her with a voice full of comfort. Feng Qingxiu looked down at him and smiled softly. It's okay, she just felt sad. Living in the 21st century, she had never experienced the famine era when they were short of food and clothing. She did not understand the hardships involved. Seeing this scene, she felt very ashamed of the waste of food in her previous life. After acknowledging the bride and toasting with wine, Lu Zhang sent Feng Qingxiu back to his new house to rest. Qingxiu, you have a good rest in the house. I will go outside to pour wine and cigarettes for them. Send them off and come back to accompany you. Looking at his wife sitting on the bed, Lu Zhang really wanted to guard her every step of the way. Go on, don't let them laugh at you. Lu Zhang was worried that his wife was bored and wanted to ask his nephew to accompany her to relieve her boredom. After walking around, he finally found the tearful Lu Tianzi and Guan Yu in the east side room. Next to them stood the helpless Lu Tianjun and Guan Cheng. He couldn't help but ask, what happened? Something happened. Lu Tianjun sighed, someone teased us before, saying that we would have 8 big bowls of food right away. But when the banquet started, Grandpa refused to let us serve, saying it was against the rules. It doesn't matter to me and Guan Cheng, we are not children, but Tianzi and Au are very sad. They have been looking forward to it for a long time, and now they are very greedy and sad when they see the delicious food outside. Lu Zhang felt funny and distressed at the same time. Okay, don't cry. In a few days, can you let Aunt prepare it for you? Lu Tianzi wiped away his tears and choked up, even if Aunt's cooking is delicious, it's not bada bowl. In order to eat the bada bowl at lunch, he drank a bowl of dried sweet potato porridge in the morning, and now he can't eat bada bowl. Bowl, I'm almost hungry. Lu Zhang whispered, it doesn't matter if we don't have 8 bowls, but we still have meat. Meat. Lu Tianzi and Guan Yu's eyes lit up. If they want to eat 8 big bowls, don't they just want to eat the meat in the 8 big bowls? Back to the 60s, The Struggle Career of a Charmed Wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 212. We still have meat at home. Lu Tianzi saw Lu Zhang nodding, and he actually accused, Uncle, you are so bad, on the great day when you marry Aunt, you don't take out all the meat and treat everyone to eat. However, I heard I'm so happy to have arrived. At the end of the sentence, the accusation turned into elation, and his eyes were as crescent-shaped. Guan Yu was younger than him, with a more innocent temperament, and his fat face turned into a flower when he smiled. Go and talk to Auntie. Auntie will be happy and will often prepare delicious food for you in the future. Because Chen Ming, Su Aguo, Cheng An and others helped to obtain fresh pork, pork skin, pig blood, etc., Feng Qingxiu saved more than half of the bacon, sausages, and other items that Feng Qingxiu had sent to Zhang He. It was not that Lu Zhang deliberately failed to do so. Take it out. Feng Qingxiu was feeling bored while sitting in her new house, but she was really happy to see a few children. She soon noticed the red eyes of the two children. After learning the reason, she couldn't help but laugh or cry, and said softly, Tianzi, Au, don't be sad. If there is a chance in the future, I will make you authentic 8 bowls, let's eat as a family and don't let outsiders come to the table. When the time comes, no one will compete with you and we will all be full. While she was talking, she stood up, opened the dowry box, and took out the fruits inside. At the same time, she used the box as a cover to take out the shakima, peanut candy, and other items she had wrapped in paper from the space, and distributed them to the 4 brothers. Lu Tianjun followed Feng Qingxiu's command, gave some to Lu's father, and came back carrying a military kettle. They ate and drank in the new house and outside until 3 or 4 o'clock. All the cigarettes, wine, and food have been exhausted. The 8 large bowls are smooth and clean, cleaner than those washed with water. Lu Jianglei asked Feng Qingxiu to see off the guests together. When they and Father Lu saw off the last guest, the old, middle-aged and young people in the Wanglu brigade also packed up their own dishes and chairs and took them back. The pots and pans in the kitchen, the basins were also cleaned cleanly and arranged neatly by the 2 cooks who had eaten at the banquet. Even the chopsticks were not missing. Dad and the kids haven't eaten yet, I'm going to cook. Father Lu quickly stopped Feng Qingxiu's movements, let Tianwan and Aiken do it. My ex, Ajiang, bought noodles and cooked them and fished them out. You are the bride. You don't have to work for 3 days after entering the house. Work if you do, you will be hurt for the rest of your life. How can it be so clever? Feng Qingxiu didn't believe it. Whether it works or not, this is our family rule. When you go back to the house to rest, Tianjun Aiken and I will cook dinner. After Lu Zhang returned to the army, he spent his free time in the cooking class, although he could not cook delicious dishes. But simple meals are not a problem for him. Scallion noodles, fried vegetables, and fried eggs were served for dinner, which was unanimously praised by everyone. After clearing away the dishes after the meal, Lu's father happily returned to the cowshed with a group of children. Niu Yubeo, who had always been honest, was clever for once and said, Uncle Lu, wait a minute, I'm going to the cowshed to enjoy the cool air too. So, only the groom and the bride were left in the new house. An awkward atmosphere ensued. Feng Qingxiu's eyes wandered back and forth, and she finally said, You've been tired for a long day, take a good rest, and I'll boil water. She specially took out the cedar wood bathtub in the space as part of her dowry, just to make it easier to take a bath. I'll help you. Lu Zhang would not give up a great opportunity. Not only did he help Feng Qingxiu boil water, but he also helped her take a bath and rub her back. His skin was as smooth as snow, which made him obsessed. If he hadn't been injured, he would definitely take a Mandarin duck bath with her. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Back to the 60s, The Struggle Career of a Charmed Wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 213. How she was hummed during the bath, and how she got from the tub to the new bed, Feng Qingxiu couldn't remember in her confusion. In a daze, dripping with sweat, she only remembered that Lu Jiang's physical strength was super good, and he didn't look like an injured person. The bandages wrapped around his arms and legs did not affect his ability to speak in simple terms at all. She was extremely tired, and before going to bed, she only saw Lu Jiang's satisfied face under the weak light of the bedside lamp. He was as proud as a cat that had stolen fish. Feng Qingxiu, who got up late, blushed as much as Xie Yu. Her sore and tired body kept reminding her of everything last night, as if she could vividly remember it. She had never experienced such crazy and private things before yesterday, whether in her previous life or this life. Qingxiu, are you awake? I've made a meal and boiled 2 pots of hot water. You wash your face and brush your teeth first. Lu Jiang, who was doing one arm and one leg training in the yard, heard the movement in the room and turned over to sit next to him. On the wheelchair, pushing the room with one hand, I saw my wife, who had transformed from a girl into a woman. Her eyes were full of joy and pride, and her tone was also full of tenderness. Facing the stinky man who made her so tired that she kept begging for mercy, Feng Qingxiu's reaction was to glare at him and say shyly, "Get out quickly and let me get dressed first. Lu Jiang wants to say that I have kissed every inch of your skin. Why are you so embarrassed?" However, he was afraid that his wife would kick him out of the new house at night, which would be embarrassing and would definitely make him laugh to death. So he obediently turned the wheelchair, followed by the sound of the wheels, and left the bedroom. He went behind the door of the main room, straightened the enamel basin on the shelf, squeezed the toothpaste onto the toothbrush, and added warm water to the enamel basin. After Feng Qingxiu washed her face last night, the toiletries were placed in the grid on the basin shelf. 2 identical enamel jars, identical toothbrushes with slightly different colors. When Feng Qingxiu came out, she was wearing black cotton and linen trousers, paired with a gray cotton and linen shirt, with slanted placket buttons, loose, covering her slender body curves. "Qingxiu, you are so beautiful. With such simple clothes, she is 10 times more beautiful than others. It's obviously the same clothes, but it gives people a completely different look and feel." Loquacious. Feng Qingxiu picked up a comb and combed her long black hair hanging behind her shoulders. Lu Jiang immediately said, "I'll braid your hair." "Okay, you come." Feng Qingxiu did not refuse. She took a domino stool and placed it in front of Lu Jiang. She sat on the stool with her back to Lu Jiang, and let Lu Jiang's big hand fall on the ends of her hair on top of her head. She touched it several times before she felt him start to comb it. After combing it neatly 1,000 times, Lu Jiang began to braid it carefully. He must have practiced in secret. After he finished, Feng Qingxiu looked at the wooden framed mirror on the wall with the words "double happiness" and the name of the giver given by his comrades, and then pulled the big braid with the red headband to see that it was actually well braided. A little rough feeling. "That's right. From now on, when you are at home, just braid my hair every day." Lu Jiang couldn't get what he asked for. "I obey, my dear wife." He felt that it was a pity in his heart that due to the current situation, women across the country could not buy products such as Luazide and Rouge Gouache. Otherwise, he would be happy to paint eyebrows for his wife. Feng Qingxiu didn't know that her husband was full of romance. She brushed her teeth, washed her face, and applied Yashuang cream. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 214. The fragrant breath filled the air, and his wife's beautiful and pink face was all he could see. Lu Jiang's heartstrings seemed to be constantly being plucked by a hand. He stood up on one leg and couldn't help but steal a scent. When his wife reacted, before coming over, he quickly sat back in his wheelchair, turned around quickly, left the words "I'm going to serve the rice," and left the main room without threshold restrictions in an instant. Rogue, Feng Qingxiu covered the face that was kissed, unable to cover up the blush on her face, unable to suppress the shame and annoyance in her heart. Lu Jiang, however, acted like a normal person and shouted in the kitchen, "Qingxiu, come and serve the food." When he got to the kitchen, he was dumbfounded. He could only move one arm, but he couldn't serve food after pushing the wheelchair. Feng Qingxiu walked over angrily and rolled her eyes at him several times. The thick-skinned Lu Zhang acted as if he hadn't noticed. He walked up to her with a smile and said, "I heard from Xiaoun that you like to eat whitewater eggs in the morning, so I cooked 4 for you." Who can eat 4 in one sitting? Feng Qingxiu has long been accustomed to 3 red dates, a bowl of porridge and an egg for breakfast. She turned her eyes around a few times and found that apart from the brown rice porridge mixed with corn crumbs in the pot and the 4 hard-boiled eggs Lu Zhang mentioned, there was only a plate of chopped pickles on the kitchen table, mixed with some chopped pickles. Green peppers, but there were more than a dozen miscellaneous grains and steamed buns covered under the fine gauze in the basket. What else didn't she understand when she saw this? "I'll just eat one." The food was brought to the dining table in the main room, and Feng Qingxiu pushed the 3 peeled eggs in front of Lu Zhang. Lu Zhang was about to refuse, but when she glared at her, he immediately stuffed the egg into his mouth, feeling very pleased with himself. "How are Dad and the kids going to eat? It's so embarrassing for the couple to have a small stove." Seeing Feng Qingxiu thinking about his father and nephew, Lu Zhang was very moved and said with a smile, "When I cooked the food, I asked Tianwan and Guancheng to bring it over, but they didn't eat with us. From now on, when I'm not at home, they will always. You have to worry about it when you are young. Who doesn't want to disturb his wedding?" Even Niu Yubao insisted on eating in the cowshed. "Why are you so polite as a family? Hurry up and eat. After dinner, go see Dad." Although we have abandoned the feudal dregs and do not say hello to the parents-in-law, the new daughter-in-law should always go and say hello to the old man. "Okay," Lu Zhang said very simply. Father Lu smiled from ear to ear when he saw his radiant son and daughter-in-law. When Feng Qingxiu brought him water, he knew that Feng Qingxiu meant to offer tea to greet him. He didn't dare to do it openly, so he had to replace with boiled water. Okay, Father Lu, who paid more attention to traditional etiquette, was very happy and immediately gave Feng Qingxiu a red lacquer box. It seemed that the old man was already prepared. "Thank you, Dad." Feng Qingxiu took it in her hand and said sweetly. Father Lu smiled and said, "If Mother Ajong is here, she should hand it over to you personally. I am now a father and mother, so you should take care of me. You guys are married now, and you will live a good life in the future. As a couple, living a good life is the real good thing, everything else is trivial." So he didn't say anything casual. "Don't worry, Dad, we will live a good life, and our whole family will be fine," Feng Qingxiu said seriously. Father Lu was even more happy after hearing this. He knew that Feng Qingxiu included himself, brothers Tianwan and Guancheng in her words. Actually, he's not worried. Feng Qingxiu was very kind to them before they even walked in the door. No one could take better care of them than her, let alone say anything after they walked in the door. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 215. Next, brothers Lu Tianjun and Guancheng kowtowed to Feng Qingxiu, the new aunt, and they kowtowed willingly. 4 in a row, they said in unison, "Auntie." They all had bright and excited smiles on their faces, full of excitement. They are all smart about their good expectations for the future. There is a big difference between having an aunt and not having an aunt. "Hey," Feng Qingxiu responded and quickly took out the gift she had prepared long ago. 4 children, each wearing a cotton and linen sweatshirt and a pair of pants. Everyone likes new clothes. The 2 teenagers and 2 children holding the new clothes were so happy that they rushed to the river to take a bath. After taking a bath, they put on the new clothes made by their aunt. The river is not deep, only half a meter deep at the corners, and the children are used to bathing in the river, so the adults have nothing to worry about. They just told them not to go to Dabeza before they set off. It was not far from their Wanglu brigade. Dabeza is a deep pit created by artillery shells during the war. It accumulated water and formed a pool. After years of excavation, the deepest point is about 6 or 7 meters. Niu Yubao said goodbye at this time. Lu Zhang tried to persuade him to stay, but Niu Yubao said sternly, "How can this be done? Before I came here, Commander Ye and Commander Zhao asked me to go back after the commander got married. I can't delay, I have to go back for training. I'm leaving today." After hearing what he said, Lu Zhang hurriedly asked Feng Qingxiu to bring him the dry food at home and send him to the station. Originally Niu Yubao didn't want Lu Zhang to give it as a gift, but Lu Zhang had other plans. Borrowing a mule cart from the production brigade, Lu Zhang and Feng Qingxiu took Niu Yubao to the train station together. They didn't leave the station until he got on the train. Lu Zhang said, "Qingxiu, let's go and get the marriage certificate. Once you get married, you have to get a marriage certificate to be considered successful." Marriage certificate, Feng Qingxiu was stunned. She had never heard those ants mention a marriage certificate. "Do you already have a marriage certificate at this time?" Because she hadn't read all the information, she didn't know the situation in this regard. "Yes, a marriage certificate. In the past, in feudal society, what we paid attention to was the 3 certificates and 6 certificates. Among the 3 certificates and 6 certificates, there was a marriage certificate. The marriage certificate needed to be signed at the yamen to be considered an official couple. Without that piece of paper, it would not be considered a legitimate couple. Before the founding of the People's Republic of China, there were also corresponding marriage certificates, which shows that a certificate is very important. However, there were frequent wars at that time, and many people only had weddings without getting a certificate. Lu Zhang explained to her carefully, "After the founding of the People's Republic of China, we also had marriage certificates. But we also had marriage certificates. Very few people in the production team bother to do this. In other words, couples in rural areas basically do not get marriage certificates." Lu Zhang had already asked Wang Zhenqiu to open a letter of introduction, and brought along his ID and proof of passing the political review in the army. After going through all the procedures, the two finally got their marriage certificate. "Not only did I get a marriage certificate, I also received a 12-foot cloth ticket from the government." Feng Qingxiu was extremely surprised. If everyone knew that they could get a cloth ticket when they get a marriage certificate, would they come in droves to register? Lu Zhang thought for a while, shook his head and said, "No." "Why?" "The reason is simple. Not everyone is eligible to receive cloth tickets. They can receive cloth tickets because he is a soldier, and the country has extra preferential treatment for military marriages." Feng Qingxiu understood and lowered her head to look at the freshly issued marriage certificate. The marriage certificate is just 2 pieces of paper. The paper is folded in half. It is very hard and has a smooth surface. It is similar to the certificate I received when I was in school. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Back to the 60s, The Struggle Career of a Charmed Wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 216. On this horizontal rectangular pink marriage certificate, there is a red 5-pointed star printed in the middle of the top. On both sides of the 5-pointed star are upturned 5-star red flags. On the left and right, there is a circle of lace printed on the inside of the 4 sides of the paper. Below the badge are 3 large red characters of marriage certificate and black writing in traditional Chinese written horizontally inside. The lace is very complicated and colorful. The lace composed of peace doves, mandarin ducks playing in the water, peonies, red-skinned grinning pomegranates and other patterns makes a simple piece of paper full of wedding joy. The content is very interesting. The words Lu Zhang, male, Feng Qingxiu, female at the beginning are side by side. After the 2 words now are the ages of the 2 people, and 29, 19 are also side by side. Followed by the word year, followed by the words both parties are willing to marry, and after review, it complies with the provisions of the marriage law of the People's Republic of China on marriage, and this certificate is issued. The lower right corner is the name of the unit that issued their marriage certificate. And the date of marriage registration, stamped with a big red seal. Feng Qingxiu read the content in a low voice, her eyes filled with joy unconsciously, and she carefully put the 2 marriage certificates into the canvas bag. I'll keep them and lock them in the box when I get home. Okay, I will leave it to my grandson later and tell him that this is a marriage certificate from many years ago. Lu Jiang's playful words earned Feng Qingxiu a slight sigh. After walking for a while, Feng Qingxiu suddenly realized that the direction was not home. Jiang, where are you going? Let's go shopping in the department store. Over the past 6 months, Lu Jiang had saved a lot of money and tickets. Except for giving some to Feng Qingxiu while he was recovering from his injuries, he didn't spend the rest. Before he came, Mr. Ye, Zhao Yang, Zheng Suifeng and others gave him away. I gave him a small amount of tickets, and before the wedding I received a package from the army, which contained various tickets and various military supplies. I only used part of it for the wedding. Feng Qingxiu held his driving hand and said, I've seen it. Our family is not short of anything. There is no need to buy and hoard it. There is no place to put it. As long as the date is not exceeded, the tickets can be kept for future use. Besides, sometimes sending tickets is easier for the other party to accept than sending things. Although you can't buy anything without a ticket, and tickets are more precious than money, tickets are not money after all. Some people with high self-esteem are willing to accept tickets from you and spend their own money to buy things. Really not necessary, Lu Jiang asked. Real? Okay then, let's go home. After leaving the city and walking on a deserted road, Lu Jiang suddenly remembered some of the conversations he had with his father a long time ago. He turned to his wife and said, You should know that our family hid a lot of things secretly before the accident. Dad said, I'll leave it to you when you get in. I'm afraid it's too late today, and I won't have time to come back tomorrow. I'll take you to the hiding place the day after tomorrow. Feng Qingxiu was stunned for a moment, then smiled, very satisfied. To her, it really doesn't matter how much property is hidden. What matters is the attitude of Lu Jiang and Father Lu towards her. I've been wondering how many things you have hidden. After careful calculation, Dad has given me a lot of precious things. Today's box contains a complete set of red gold and emerald jewelry. However, her favorite is it's still the Sangzitang Dharma post. Lu Jiang thought for a while and replied, If you want to know the specific amount, I will take you to see it. I can't tell for a while. Moreover, part of the hidden property was left to heaven by my eldest brother and sister-in-law Wan and Tianzi. Not long after they got married, they took out their easily stored treasures and asked Dad to hide them for them. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 217. Since it's a secret, the less people know about it, the less dangerous it is. You don't have to show me where things are hidden. I just know that's all. Feng Qingxiu admired Father Lu's foresight. She had heard him say it before from conversations with Chen Ming and Su Aguo. We know that this old man is wise and calm, with eyes that see everything. Lu Jiang was stunned for a moment, then smiled and said, You are the mistress of our family, and the financial power of our family should be entrusted to you. Besides, we are a family, and there are no secrets between us. No secrets between the family. Feng Qingxiu suddenly felt a little startled. She thought of her own space and her own time travel. However, she knew very well in her heart and had a clear mind that she could never tell the secret of her time travel to a second person besides herself, even if that person was her lifelong partner. It's not that she's not honest enough, but time travel is too unbelievable for anyone. She was afraid that she would be treated as an alien. In this era when many traditional cultural customs are considered feudal dross, she cannot afford any risks. Lu Jiang, who was driving with one hand, didn't hear his wife's response for a long time and turned his head back. The two of them were sitting on the mule cart, one behind the other instead of side by side. He looked at his wife, who had her head and face wrapped in a red scarf, and said, "King Xiu, what are you thinking? Is there something wrong with what I said?" "No," Feng Qingxiu came back to her senses, "I just feel very comfortable in my heart." Ironing the post meant that she was very happy. Lu Zhang grinned, showing his big white teeth, not forgetting to label himself a good man. "We men in the Lu family love our wives very much." Feng Qingxiu blushed and said angrily, "Wang Po is selling melons." Lu Zhang disagreed. He was not boasting. "I can use time to prove that I possess the excellent traditions of the Lu family." Feng Qingxiu tilted her head and pursed her lips with a smile, "Then I'll wait and see." "Enemy." Lu Zhang nodded his head twice, then realized something was wrong and said he would wait and see. Wasn't it because he didn't believe his words but wanted to see his future performance? He turned to look at his wife, only to find a sly smile in her eyes. This smile made her already beautiful eyes shine even more, just like the bright stars in the night sky. "You." Lu Zhang helplessly showed a look of doting, but Feng Qingxiu was very moved. It is usually difficult to see such an unabashed and exposed expression on the face of this era. The newlyweds chatted and laughed. Time flew by quickly and the distance was incredibly short. It seems that without saying a few words, the mule cart drove into the Wanglu brigade. When the mule cart is returned to the team and the mules rush to the cowshed, they have arrived home. While feeding the mules, Father Lu asked the young couple who had just returned, "When you come back tomorrow, have you bought anything in the city and brought it back?" Although Xiaoxiu's parents are gone, her uncle and aunt are handling the marriage, so she should go to them take a trip home. Lu Zhang paused, and Feng Qingxiu was also stunned. Both of them remembered to return home tomorrow, but they forgot about the greeting ceremony. Lu Zhang reacted quickly and immediately replied, "Department stores are often out of stock, so there is no need to buy anything. It's better to just pick a few things from the things Qingxiu and I brought back and those sent by our comrades as home gifts, which is better than buying them." When Father Lu heard this, what didn't he understand? "But my son is right, military supplies are not available outside." Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 218. Early the next morning, Lu Zhang picked up 2 bottles of canned fruit and a can of lunch meat from home, then borrowed a mule cart from the brigade, had a simple breakfast, and rushed to the Kahua brigade with Feng Qingxiu. Second Aunt Feng held her eldest grandson and took Feng Qingyun with her, waiting at the intersection early. Seeing the couple driving a mule cart from afar, Aunt Feng showed a smile on her face, while Feng Qingyun had already rushed up to them calling sister, brother-in-law. Lu Zhang immediately stopped the mule. "Slow down. What will you do if the mule hits you?" Feng Qingxiu scolded as she got out of the car and took her sister to look up and down. She was safe and sound, as round and cute as before she got married, and she was relieved. Feng Qingyun pointed at the mule's hooves with a smile, "Sister, I stay far away from it so that I won't be bounced. Sister, I miss you so much. Will you and your brother-in-law take me away today? It's really sad to live without my sister." When living in other people's homes, even if they try to give her the best food instead of fooling herself with whole grains, she would be embarrassed to eat. This was also the case at her aunt's house before. She stretched her neck while waiting for her sister. Lu Zhang said, "Yes, your sister and I will take you home today." "Very good." Amid Feng Qingyun's cheers, Aunt Feng had already walked up to her and said with a smile on her face, "Stop blocking other people's way here. Let's go home. If you have anything to say, we'll talk about it back home. Xiaoxiu, I still have something to give you." "Woolen cloth." "What?" Feng Qingxiu asked. Aunt Feng smiled and said, "The gift money you received on the day you left home." Those who came to the wedding banquet did not eat and drink for free. They gave Hefen Kingseo gifts according to their distance and relative distance. Close relatives such as Uncle Wang's brother and sister gave 5 yuan to each family. Second Uncle Feng, who was a close uncle, also gave 5 yuan. Those who live close to the Kahua brigade can pay as little as 350 cents to as much as 1 yuan. If they really don't have money, they will give them a few kilograms of coarse grains. Feng Qingxiu's biological brothers were also supposed to salute, but they didn't show up and were ignored. When settling the accounts, everyone finally understood the reason why the two brothers did not associate with their sister. They were afraid of contributing money and effort. Therefore, Uncle Feng and Aunt Feng collected a total of 32.5 yuan and 20 kilograms of dried sweet potatoes, and handed them all to Feng Qingxiu, handed her the registered gift list, and arranged for cooking. Feng Qingxiu said hurriedly, "Second uncle and aunt and sister-in-law, please stop working. We will go home for lunch. My father-in-law will take care of us and cook for the 3 of us at noon. Lu Zhang is injured, so he has to ask his second uncle and his cousin to help him. Brother, do me a favor and move the big boxes and pieces of furniture in our house into the car. When we settle in Wanglu Brigade, we must take away the belongings we bought." "No problem," Uncle Feng and his son agreed very simply. Even though Feng Qingxiu and her sister had nothing when they were kicked out, they actually bought a lot of things this year. Wardrobes, cupboards, beds, tables, chairs, and boxes, pots and pans, bedding and clothes, etc., could not be loaded in a mule cart. Uncle Feng borrowed 2 mule carts from the brigade and finally cleaned up the house. Because the doors and windows are all made of excellent wood, Uncle Feng also unloaded them and loaded them into the car. "I heard that your 2 brothers are all thinking about this house. With their heartless behavior, you don't have to leave anything to them. You don't have to worry about the vegetable garden outside. When it's time to harvest the melons, vegetables, and grain, I'll take it and send it to you. You can tie it up and I'll take back the private land allocated to you 2 at that time." You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Back to the 60s, The Struggle Career of a Charmed Wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 219. After packing her things, Feng Qingxiu, accompanied by Lu Zhang, looked for Feng Xuanxia to open a certificate of household registration. It was actually a letter of introduction. With this thing, Wang Zhenqiu could register her and her sister's household registration in the Wanglu Brigade. In fact, it doesn't matter whether they have this thing or not. What proof do Zhang He and the others have? But Feng Qingxiu wanted to follow this normal process. Returning to the Wanglu Brigade, Lu Zhang called his nephew to help. According to Feng Qingxiu's instructions, the cabinets, pots, pans, oil, salt, sauce, vinegar, and jars containing pickles were put into the kitchen. 2 iron pots, 1 large and 1 small, were placed directly in the kitchen. Sitting on the stove without a pot, it was a perfect fit. Lu Zhang was not at home before, and his comrades did not know about it. Lu's father and Wang Zhenqiu were unable to get the iron pot. It was not a matter of votes, but because there was no stock in the city. The large-scale steel-making incident to support national construction caused iron to be scarce, and it is still scarce now. If a little iron is not enough to make farm tools, who would be willing to make pots? So I always borrowed the pot from the cowshed to cook. As for the beds, tables, chairs, wardrobes, and other furniture, they are placed in the east side room, so that the east side room can be occupied immediately. Feng Qingxiu took the old quilt she brought back and spread it in the west room of the main room as her sister's residence. Then she took the new quilt as a dowry to the east side room and arranged it for the 4 brothers Lu Tianjun and Guancheng to live together. Although the cowshed can provide shelter from wind and rain, laying a floor covering is not a long-term solution, and the cold can easily penetrate into the bones. It didn't matter if there was no new house before, but now there is a new house, and there are enough rooms. Of course, we can't let a few grown-up boys live in the cowshed with Father Lu, leaving hidden health risks. Neither Lu Tianzi nor Guan Yu are very strong, so they need to pay more attention to their health. As for Lu's father, there is no way to move to a new house. First, because of his status, living in the new house will easily make people think that he has returned to the luxurious enjoyment of the landlord era. Second, the production brigade has arranged for him to take care of the animals, so he has to not leaving even an inch. Feng Qingxiu planned in her mind that before the weather got cold, she would go to the scrap station and buy some old wood and piece it together with the removed door panels to make 2 beds. One would be sent to the cowshed for Father Lu, and the other would be placed as a bed. Go to the east side room. There is only 1 bed in the east side room, which cannot accommodate 4 brothers. 2 beds are just right. They can sleep in 1 bed, which is warm and saves space. After cleaning up the room and sending Uncle Feng and his son away, it was almost afternoon. Feng Qingxiu opened the box she brought and gave the shoes to Lu's father, and gave them to brothers Lu Tianjun and Guan Cheng. Each of them had a pair of cloth shoes with black uppers with a 1,000-layer sole. They were the right size and very comfortable to wear. They were the shoes from her natal family before marriage. The aunt and sister-in-law next to me helped make it. Me and Au, too. Guan Cheng was very surprised. He knew that the shoes the bride brought back from her parents' house on the day she returned home were called home shoes, and they were made for her husband's family. He thought they were only for Lu's father and brothers Lu Tianjun, but he didn't expect that they were also made for his own brother. The emotion in my heart was instantly as full as the water in the reservoir in summer, almost overflowing. Feng Qingxiu smiled and said, "Aren't you and Au different from Tianjun Tianzi? If they have it, of course you have it too." Guan Cheng suddenly opened his mouth and smiled brightly. My brother and Tianjun Tianzi were treated exactly the same, had the same food and clothing, and did the same work. There was no difference at all. This is really good, very good. The happiness that he had never dreamed of before came unexpectedly. He and his brother would wake up laughing every day, and their good mood would last day after day. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 220. Guan Yu didn't know why his brother was laughing, but he didn't hesitate to giggle along with his new shoes. As long as we adults are here, the children can study hard and make progress every day. Don't think about anything. Feng Qingxiu patted the shoulder of Guan Cheng, who had grown taller in the past 6 months, and turned to find her uncle to give her sister's household registration. Implement. Lu Jiang's household registration and Lu's father's household registration are not in the same household registration book. This is the result of discussion between Lu's father and Wang Zhenqiu. Lu's father had a poor family background and was afraid of delaying his descendants. Wang Zhenqiu took advantage of a loophole and put the household registrations of brothers Lu Tianjun and Guan Cheng into Lu Jiang's account as nephews. Anyway, apart from him and Father Lu, there was no one else. Others know about this, and now there is Feng Qingxiu and Feng Qingyun. And because Lu Jiang joined the army and his household registration was in the army, the head of the household became his wife Feng Qingxiu. With the implementation of household registration, life is on the right track. When Feng Qingxiu got up the next morning, Lu Jiang was doing training in the yard. She was busy in the kitchen, cooking a large pot of corn crumbs and brown rice porridge. There were no eggs at home, so she mixed noodles and baked about 20 sheets. Black noodle scallion pancakes, and then a large bowl of pickled cabbage, stir-fried, filling the room with the aroma. Jiang, I'll tell Xiaoun to get up, and you go call Dad and Tianjun to eat. Got it, Lu Jiang agreed, turned his wheelchair to the door, and said loudly to the west, Tianjun, call your grandpa and come over for dinner. I won't go there. He has a loud voice that carries very far. Lu Tianjun responded quickly, "Uncle, I heard it. Come right now." So, Lu Zhang just walked back to the main room without having to go back and forth, which greatly saved time and energy. Feng Qingxiu smiled, took off the black apron from her waist, walked to the west room and prepared to wake up her sister, but found that she had already dressed neatly and stood beside the bed. Because the weather was hot, a mattress was laid out. No need to fold a quilt. Wash your hands and eat, Feng Qingxiu pulled her out. After brushing his teeth and washing his face, Father Lu came in chatting and laughing with his grandson. There was a table full of people, and everyone first served a bowl of porridge, then ate scallion pancakes with sauerkraut, and ate deliciously. The sauerkraut is pickled with mustard greens, which is actually not delicious, but it is chopped and fried in lard, and then added with chili. It is especially suitable for rice. The men have a big appetite. They drank all the porridge in the pot and the scallion pancakes. And sauerkraut is also eaten cleanly. And, did we eat too much? While washing dishes, Guancheng was worried that there was not enough food at home. Black noodle scallion pancake, black noodle, pure black noodle, not mixed with coarse grain noodles, the oil is lard, so fragrant that he almost swallowed it with his tongue, feeling that other people may not be able to eat such delicious food even during the Chinese New Year. Feng Qingxiu let her two nephews help her wash the pots, dishes, and tidy up the kitchen. She took out a piece of dark smoked meat from the cupboard, washed it with hot water, then put it in the pot to cook, and said with a smile, "It's better." That said, as children, you just need to study hard and make progress every day, and you don't have to worry about food and clothing at home. The smoked meat is cooked until you can use chopsticks to penetrate the pig skin. Take it out. There is a thick layer of fat floating on the water in the pot. Put it into a bowl and save it for cooking next time. There is no waste at all. Several children gathered around the stove were drooling. Even though Lu Tianjun and Guancheng were half-grown teenagers and very sensible, they were unable to resist the meaty smell. Feng Qingxiu picked up the knife and cut 5 thin and transparent pieces of lean meat, bright red fat, and fat from the smoked meat. Each of them divided a piece. After eating, we will go out to play, and the rest will be stewed with eggplant for lunch. I guarantee that you can all enjoy it. Good food. Cheers came and went, and the regret of not eating 8 bowls before suddenly flew out of the sky.